Hello and welcome to the interview. I am Malik Jones. Tonight, my guest, Dr. Henry Darlington Richmond Carroll, Oxford-trained lawyer, Doctor of Laws, Senior University Law Lecturer at the University of the Gambia. He's a writer, musician, and table tennis champion. Dr. Carroll, welcome to the interview.
Thank you, Mr. Jones.
Well, you've decorated my table tonight. I've got the national flag right in front of me. Because courtesy of your generosity.
Thank you, Mr. Jones. My pleasure.
You grew up in Banjul. I grew up in Banjul. We were both born and grew up in Banjul. Can we revisit your childhood days in Banjul?
Yes, I have very happy recollections of my childhood in Banjul. It was then Batos. And then eventually, after the Republican status of the Gambia being attained in the Republic in 1970, it was transformed or renamed Banjul, because the original name of the country was called Banjulo. When the explorers came, it was called Banjulo. So we reverted to what it used to be. It's nothing new. It's going back to history. But it was a very nice, and still nice, very nice capital of the people of the Gambia, very peaceful, law-abiding people with little crimes and no cause for concern.
Growing up in Banjul, how did it impact upon you?
Yes, indeed. Of course, as you know, Banjul is the seat of government of the Gambia, and you have access to facilities, and you become aware of issues very quickly, and in fact, you acclimatize and adjust, and also make you know and understand that the country is a place for peaceful coexistence.
Your school days?
My school days, yes. I started my primary school at St. Joseph's Primary School in Anglesey Street. From there, after 6 years of primary school, I passed the common entrance, then went to St. Augustine's High School, did 5 years for my high school, and then proceeded for my sixth form. And we opened the school sixth form during Father Goff's time. And Bishop Clary, later become Bishop Clary, was our principal until the time when he retired. And Father Goff took over the mantleship of the school. And we opened the sixth form at St. Augustine's High School from 80 to 82.
Did it ever occur to you during your school days, high school days, that you were going to be a legal practitioner one day?
Yes. Well, that was my expectation at that time, because as from 3, that is the crossroads of a high school career. You must have the correct combination of subjects to lead you to your ultimate career. And I chose literature, history, English, and I excelled very well in them to make sure I get myself ready for my ultimate goal of becoming a legal practitioner one day.
You must have read Shakespeare.
Yes, indeed. I read Shakespeare extensively.
Can I quote Shakespeare and you tell me where this one is coming from?
Yes.
Tomorrow and tomorrow and tomorrow creeps to this petty pace, and all our yesterdays have lighted fools the way to dusty death. Out, brave candle, life's but a walking shadow. Yes. A poor player that struts and fetches hour upon the stage,
and then is had no more. It is a tale told by an idiot, full of sound and fury, signifying nothing. It was said in Macbeth. But my favorite one is Julius Caesar.
Okay.
Friends, Romans, countrymen, lend me your ears. Have come to bury Caesar and not to praise him. The evil that men do lives after them, but the good is often interred with their bones. So let it be with Caesar.
You must have, as a student of literature at that time, you must have read a lot of African writers. Who was one of the best of your African writers in poetry?
In poetry, well, I think it's Wole Soyinka. He is a Nobel Peace Laureate, and I think his best poem to me was Telephone Conversation, in which he talked about, I hate a wasted journey, madam. In other words, when you embark on a journey, you must be fruitful and you must see the results of the journey, instead of going on a wild goose chase.
Did Senghor impress you?
Yes, I also read some of Senghor's works. Senghor wrote about negritude, about those Black Africans who were in Europe's story at the time, and then they lost their Africanness, and they were feeling homesick or nostalgia. And when he was in Paris in those days, he documented this thing in writing. And Senghor, in fact, I was invited to St. Augustine's High School some years ago when Dr. Charles Mendy, my classmate, was the principal. And my text was based on the life and times of Leopold Sedar Senghor as a role model for them. And I quoted negritude, and I quoted his verses, and more importantly, I said that Leopold Sedar Senghor was the first African to sit in the French Academic Council. And they are the intellectuals which every 10 years review the French dictionary. And they sit around a table of gold chairs in Paris called the Immortals. So I think he was really somebody worthy of mention.
You must have been a public speaker during your school days.
Yes, indeed.
Taking part in debates and things like that.
Yes. Father Goff was very keen about that. We used to have competitions. We used to go to Gambia High School and then Nusrat and this, and we go around. It's good, and it gives you the art of advocacy, and be able to communicate efficiently and to make sure your audience understand what you are saying. It's no point trying to communicate, and then there is a communication deadlock.
Now comes the law career. Thinking of becoming a lawyer. Where did you study?
Well, I studied law at Buckland University College in Oxford from 1989 to 1994 as a self-sponsored student. My late mother, Mrs. Desi Carroll of Blessed Memory, sponsored my fees. It was very expensive. We paid in pound sterling as foreign fees. But thank God today, at the university here, we have the law at our doorsteps, thanks to President Jammeh for his innovation in bringing law and justice to the doorstep of every Gambian. So I think that's a very commendable move. It was very expensive. It was in a faraway country, but I quickly acclimatized and returned home with flying colors.
Now you became, you are a senior university lecturer. You were my lecturer, by the way.
Yes, at GTTI.
At GTTI, I did a diploma in law, and you were there doing immigration law.
Yes, and ILEX.
Yeah, and ILEX as well.
Yes.
And now you are at the
Faculty of Law.
University.
Yes, I was one of the founding founder law lecturers there. And in fact, we offer the 4-year LLB program, Bachelor of Laws. You have to pass through that stage first, and then you go to the law school, of which Justice Raymond Sock, now acting Chief Justice, is the director. And when you get your BL, then you're a fully fledged lawyer.
Now, how do you see the legal scenario in the Gambia now?
Well, I think the legal fraternity is now taking a different dimension, because we have just produced 18 lawyers yesterday, homegrown lawyers, and I'm happy to say that they all passed through me in the university. I think the question of private lawyers charging high fees will soon be a thing of the past, because in economics, we talk about supply and demand. So we don't intend to flood the market, but we are trying to make sure we satisfy the manpower needs of the Ministry of Justice and the judiciary, which is the legal sector of the Gambia. And when that is done, I think we'll be going a long way towards attaining educational goals of Vision 2020.
There is something I marvel about you, anyway, and I must commend you on that. You like to use a lot of Latin whenever you're dealing with legal issues or talking about legal terms and explaining legal things. You use a lot of Latin.
Yes.
Do people envy you because you do that?
Well, most people admire, but I think Latin is a very scholarly language. It is difficult to understand, but whenever I use a Latin phrase, I simplify it for people to understand. There's no point saying something above the heads of people. By using Latin maxim, I translate. In fact, there's a book called Lawyers Latin, sold at Timbuktu Bookshop. And I tell all my students, you must have that for your lectures. And believe you me, they are so good at it. I thought that they were born in Rome, some of them. But it's a matter of practice. Delegatus non potest delegare. Delegated powers must not be sub-delegated. Qui priore est tempore potio est jure. He who is first in time has priority in law. You just go to narrative and then translate.
Did you practice in the courts?
Yes, when I just came, yes. Yes, when I just came, first I was a state counsel, then senior state counsel, and then principal state counsel, then register of companies, then curator, register of companies, and then deputy solicitor general, and finally solicitor general.
But you've never gone private?
No.
You've always with the government of the Gambia?
Yeah, exactly, yes.
What's the advantage?
Well, it's a big advantage. You can have a very well...
You travel all the time?
Not necessarily travel. You travel is part of the package, but you enhance your CV. That's the advantage. And also a sacrifice. Of course, you are loyal to your state and your government. It's not the money not all that matters. People are only after money. But there is more to life than money. I believe in self-actualization and self-satisfaction. And in the process of doing that, you have a wide experience from the different areas of the law. And you have a bird's eye view from a vantage point. And that's a big advantage. Rather than you finish your law, you go to one-man show chambers, that person is having a very myopic approach of the law, and you are not the better off. So I think the Ministry of Justice is a good place of privilege. I advise any new lawyer to come and join there, or judiciary, you can get a good first-hand on-the-job experience.
And most lawyers will not want to come to the Ministry of Justice because they may say their salary is not much, probably about $10,000 a month. And when they look at a private practice, if you win a case, probably you make about 20% of the whatever is due to the one who wins the case.
Yes.
So that is a huge sum of money compared to somebody in the Ministry of Justice as a state counsel earning $10,000 a month.
Yes, that is financially true. But what I'm saying, all that will still be a thing of the past.